Hello, in this video it will be demonstrated how to use REST API NX extension to generate a fully functional REST API web service based on .NET 5. .NET 5 is next version of .NET Core. You need this extension installed on your Visual Studio 2019. Community edition is fine. So let us create in 3 steps REST API service solution. Step 1. Create starting REST API template. So after a short time, dependencies are getting resolved automatically by Visual Studio, and we got created 5 functional projects with 2 base entity user and accounts. Identity server for project is additional authentication option for REST API service. However, in this video, JWT authentication will be used. So it's created API project with controller, domain with services, entity with entities, repository network, and test with integration and command line Postman tests. So step 2, let's update an API and test project app setting JSON files with new database connection string. Once we update connection string, now we're ready for next step. And those are tests generated. Initial solution is created for 2 existing entities. So now step 3, we'll run the service to initiate database migration. Create a database migration script and create 2 tables. Create a database with 2 tables, initial entities. So when we run the service, after a short time, yes, that database migration executed, and we will get starting info page for our service with all status of our service and some useful links to Swagger page that generated as well with documentation and testing. So now let's open database to confirm that new database created with 2 tables, accounts and users. Now let us run generated integration tests. All passed. Okay. So we saw in just 3 steps with no coding, we get fully functional REST API service with all required plumbing as a great start for further development. So now next test is the Postman test that we can use, and there is generated JSON file and we got a PowerShell script. But before we run a Postman test, we have to make sure that our generated REST API service is up and running. So let's run again our service and we'll get info page again. So now let's go to PowerShell script and execute PowerShell script that will help us to run those Postman tests, from command line using Node.js and Newman. So we have two type of reports here. So we run Postman test twice. First time to get a summary HTML report for test results, and second time to get detailed. So when test executed, automatically will be shown page with a summary report. If you want to open detailed report, you have to find report detail HTML file that's generated during this Postman test run and open in any browser. So now I definitely want to customize and extend default REST API service. So for that we need additional 3 steps. So step 1, let's add a new entity class to entity project and entity folder. So let's call it client, and add some properties to new class. So step 2 is actually to run T4 scripts. We have a T4 scripts in all projects, that will be executed, but to run that script all at once, we're gonna use in anti-project code generate utility batch file, which will help us to execute all those scripts. So, and do scaffolding required for added entity. So let's open that batch file, and that will actually ask us if we want to delete previously generated classes. So we make sure that we move code from those classes because they're going to be deleted every next run. So right now T4 start running, and we got generated entity helpers, domain classes, mapper classes, services classes. Controller, extend the startup code, regenerated Postman JSON tests with adding new entity tests and test classes, and database migration code for new added entity you generated. So that was step 2. Now step 3. Yeah, we can see actually that under every TT file is added a CS class with generated code. It's more 100 lines of code generated with single execution. So before actually this step 3 is now to run again service to get startup page. So this time new database migration code will be executed to create a new table that is needed for added entity. So once we got that startup page for service, so we know that database migration class script is executed. So yeah, we can see as well, like we got added REST API calls for new entity. So now let's open database and confirm that data migration code runs successfully, and then is added new table, clients. Now we can run scaffolded test for new entity, integration tests. All passed. Now Postman test. So again, JSON file is regenerated with added new tests for new entity. So again, we can use config file to basically set these tests and use email notifications. So test reports can be sent by email. So now when we before we run test again, we have to make sure that our service is up and running. So now we go to PowerShell script and execute PowerShell script. And again, test will run twice. First time to generate Postman test will run twice. First time to generate a summary test, and second time to summary test report, and second time run test to generate detailed test report. So after run completed, we will get a summary report displayed. Yeah, with increased number of tests, as we see, with added new entity. And as well, we can run a detailed report on Postman tests, just opening a HTML page. All these steps can be repeated if you set up IS4 to be authentication mechanism for our REST API service. But that will be demonstrated in some next videos. Thank you for watching this video, and for more instruction please check our YouTube channel.